Maggie Leanne Walker by Nakia Covington. Maggie Leanne Walker, also known as Maggie Draper or Maggie Mitchell, was born after the Civil War on July 15, 1864, in Richmond, Virginia, in the mansion of Elizabeth Van Lew, who was a slave owner. Maggie was an African American entrepreneur and civic leader who broke traditional gender and discriminatory laws. As a child, Maggie was educated through Richmond Public Schools. There she discovered the importance of education and hard work. The material presented wasn't its best, but it still taught Maggie a vulnerable lesson about education. She received her education in Lancaster School and the Richmond Colored Norm School. When her family moved into their new home, the First African Baptist Church was near, and that was another place Maggie enjoyed going because at the time, many black churches were used as a local black community center for economic, political, and social issues. This is when religion became an important factor along with education. At the age of 14, she joined the local Council of Independent Order of St. Luke. Maggie's mother, Elizabeth Draper, was a former slave and assistant cook for Elizabeth Van Lew. She married William Mitchell, the butler, shortly after Maggie was born. Another child was born, Johnny, who was Maggie's half brother. Once tragedy struck that William was murdered, the family was left in poverty, so Elizabeth began a laundry business to make ends meet. Maggie admired education so much that after school she taught grade school for 3 years. But once she married Armstead Walker Jr. in 1886, who was a brick contractor, she was forced to leave teaching to take care of her family and her work. Maggie seen bigger plans in this organization by just working there. She loved children, so she establishes a juvenile branch of the Independent Order of St. Luke and becomes Grand Deputy of the branch. Her hard work was greatly appreciated and acknowledged and was seen through all her accomplishments. Order of St. Luke is an organization that dedicated to the social and financial advancement of African Americans, founded by Mary Prout in Baltimore. It was built in 1902 but was remodeled and enlarged in 1915. The building held the office of the Independent Order of St. Luke, known as African American Fraternal Society. In the process of her becoming better, she gives birth to two sons, Russell and Melvin. Another was born before Melvin, but he died 7 months later. His name was Armstead Mitchell. Also, Maggie and her husband adopted a daughter by the name of Polly Anderson. The Walkers purchased a home for their family in Richmond's center of African Americans' business and cultural life. The Walkers opened their home to numerous families and expanded the home from 9 to 28 rooms to accommodate the growth of what they called their family. Mrs. Walker's dedication to this organization placed her in a very honorable position as the Right Worthy Grand Secretary. And while holding up such leadership, the Order of St. Luke membership and numbers of councils were significantly increased throughout the country. She took this dying organization and gave it life and helped it thrive. The St. Luke Emporium was the retail part of the Walker's three-part plan. They offered African American women opportunities for work and to offer the black community access to cheaper goods. But due to the accusations that black customers patronized white business, the Emporium could not continue and make enough money. It was forced to close in 1911. Another part of the three-part union was the St. Luke Herald newspaper. It promoted closer communication between the order and the public. It increased awareness of the service offered by St. Luke's and issues that were important. The newsletter was a success. It spoke out for equal opportunities for black children and education. Maggie Walker felt that the next step should be bigger, so she then founded and served as the first African American woman president for Penny Savings Bank for the Order of St. Luke. The goal was to encourage savings and facilitate loans to the community members. In 1920, the bank helped about 600 families purchase homes. Maggie Lynn Walker was the type of leader that encouraged others to help to develop a better community. All her life, she took care of others and had a large group of helping hands to get the job done. And by having her community behind her movements, she became successful with her ideas. Ms. Walker became a well established and respected leader in her community, and she worked tirelessly for equal rights. She founded the Richmond Council of Colored Women to raise money for education and health programs. She was also a member of various organizations, including Women's Suffrage and the 19th Amendment. Maggie's later years were marred by sorrow due to her husband's death in a tragic shooting accident caused by her oldest son, Russell. Also during this time, she suffered with health problems and was in a wheelchair her last years, but her disability didn't stop her from being active and committed to her causes. Miss Walker suffered from her diabetic condition and died on December 15, 1934 at the age of 70 due to gangrene infection. In 1979, her home was purchased by the National Park Service and is now known for being a National Historic Site. The house was a true center of African American influence in 1920s. In her honor, Richmond Public Schools built a large brick high school adjacent to VUU. Maggie L. Walker High School was one of two schools in the area for black students during a period of racial segregation. In 2001, the school reopened as Maggie L. Walker's Governor's School for Government International Studies. Maggie L. Walker's Governor's School for Government and International Studies is an innovative public high school offering comprehensive college preparatory program emphasizing government, international studies, science, math, language, and fine arts. The school serves students selected on the basis of aptitude and interest in its mission.